Shoot it.
Coach, where would you and your staff think the biggest improvement has to come based on where you played in week 1 and where you're going to play in week 2?
Well, we feel like we want to do a better job in protection on offense. We feel that we want to take the next step in a couple of our special teams. A couple were outstanding. A couple of them we felt we needed to work on. We felt that we had too many missed tackles on defense. We ran to the ball really well, and that was a great thing, but we missed tackles. And you can't, we have a rule here, you can't have 10 or more missed tackles. It usually doesn't equate well to winning. And so those are areas that we want to address, which is pretty typical coming out of game 1. The most important thing is, okay, you addressed them, and now you want to see improvement in them. And that's where we are right now, is going about the business of correcting the things that we think we can do better. What we did well, I thought we played with energy. We thought we played with passion. We were a tough football team. We ran the ball well. We gang tackled. We made big plays. And I thought we played with confidence. So those are things that, really the things that we wanted to get accomplished actually got accomplished in that game. The things that you set forward and say, week 1, this is what you want to get done. We got those things done. But the other issues are issues that we want to correct and continue to grow in. Obviously, we want to continue to grow offensively and diversify. We were pretty vanilla in that game. So, but you got to take these steps as they come. You try to take on too much at one time and nothing looks good. I thought what we did looked good for what we did. We executed what we wanted to do, but it wasn't very diverse.
Was that the plan though, Steve? Because sometimes can you almost try to get too cute with things and outsmart yourself? Was the key just we're going to do what we do well and do it until it's decisive?
I told you guys a long time ago we wanted to be mentally and physically tough. We wanted to have some energy on the field. We wanted to play with passion. We wanted to be able to run the football. We wanted to be able to gang tackle on defense. Those things got done. I mean, that was real. But nor can I look in the eye and tell you we're where we need to be right now. Absolutely not. I mean, we've got to grow right now. This has got to be a big week for us, and we've got to show more growth, and we will. We will.
Mike Girardi, how did he rate out with Scott?
Yeah, I mean, he did great. He had a great day. I mean, he threw the ball well. He executed our run plan well, managed the game well. He was a leader on the field. I mean, the things that you evaluate, I thought he did a great job with. I felt Mike performed the way he needed to perform.
He didn't put many balls that weren't uncatchable.
No.
For game 1, that was pretty.
Yeah. I thought he threw it well. He managed the game well. He had great poise and confidence out there, and I thought that was important. That was a challenge. You guys asked me all preseason camp about the quarterback situation. I kept saying back to you that we want to find those guys that are going to step up and lead a little bit. And he did do that. And I would say the last week to 10 days of training leading up to the game, that happened. And to his credit, and he did that in the game as well. And that was a positive. Now, our philosophy is that's great, but it's ongoing. It has to happen now continually, not just for Mike, but for everybody in the football team. This is not like, okay, we're all set. We're just started here right now. So, the challenge is to grow from here, not to stay the same, and certainly not to backslide. And so competition is ongoing. Sometimes in football, it's, kind of, even coaches, you get in a situation where you get there and you get to say, okay, this is it now, and you kind of hang on to those guys that are in their roles. I don't really believe in that. It's open competition and keep everyone firing. I think it's the best thing you can do.
Can you comment on Blaze's performance?
Who?
The linebacker.
Blaze?
Yeah, Blaze.
Yeah, I thought Blaze played solid. Made some tackles, played solid. We're always looking. The linebackers. We'd like to see that linebacker position really continue to really grow here. I think it has to go a ways right now. I mean, they've been challenged each week, but I thought Blaze played consistent, and that's one of those positions you want to make sure that you like to have some guys playing spectacularly. I don't know that we're there yet. I think obviously Tahir Whitehead is a leader in that group, but he's an outside linebacker as opposed to an inside linebacker. So that's a position that needs to continue to grow. I thought Steven Johnson played pretty solid, and that's the apex of your defense right there. It's kind of like the apex of your offense is that center quarterback. The apex of that defense is that linebacker safety, and those guys need to be impact guys. And we need to keep growing in that direction.
You expect Akron to come out and be extremely fired up after their embarrassment last week?
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, I wouldn't call it an embarrassment just from the mere fact that they played one of the finest teams in college football at their home site. I mean, and so, you got to put that in perspective for a minute. And I thought they played it well for a half, and I expect Akron to be like in the corner of that wall right there at home on Saturday night, coming out with everything they have, firing. That's what I expect. I know I'll see that. That'll happen. They've got a great coaching staff there, an experienced bunch of guys, Ron Paulus, John Latina, Mitch Browning. Those guys have been around a lot of major places. They know that team will come out of that corner fighting on their home field, and we're gonna get they're gonna play at their highest level. There's no question in my mind about it. So I think that they'll rally back from that game, gather up, and say, okay, here we go. We're in conference play now. Let's go. And the experience have had played against the level that they played against can actually come and help them.
What are the strengths of that football team?
Well, I mean, I think they've got 3 returning starters on the defensive line. I'd say that's one of their strengths. They have a linebacker there, kid Brian Wagner, who is a returning All-MAC player. He's all over the field. He's a heck of a football player. They got a corner that's a heck of a football player. So on defense, they've got some key guys there that you watch them on tape and they're good. They play hard. On offense, they've got I believe it is 3 returning offensive linemen. They've got a big, tall receiver, junior college receiver that came in. It's a real vertical threat. What was his name here? His name was Markello Sewell. Hope I don't mispronounce the guy's name. And then Clayton Moore, was a junior college quarterback that came in there, and I thought he managed the game, made some good plays in there. So, we feel like they've got a quality football team. They've got a quality football staff. And we're certainly not going to read into what the score against Ohio State was. I mean, we're going to read into what we see on the tape and the fact that this is the conference play, and there's no margin for error in college football, period.
Steve, where do they look like they are in terms of, I guess this will be like their second year with Rob, is like last year was kind of a rebuilding year for them. Did they look like, do you see stuff where they're just in casually watching the game on Saturday or on film, did they look like they're making those little steps where they're starting to make that progression into that second year a little bit?
I mean, it's just like, for me, it would be impossible for me to comment too much on it because I wasn't here last year, and although I do have tape to watch at, I'm watching a lot of tape. They have a different defensive coordinator, so I'm watching the Ohio State game, and I'm watching some schematic things from Minnesota. So it would be hard for me to comment on any of that. I just know that what I see on the film from Saturday is that they play hard. They've got ability. They've got guys that are really good football players. There's a lot of pride in that football program, and they're going to feel like they're backed up against the wall because they lost, but they lost to a outstanding football team. I mean, they played Ohio State, and that was Ohio State at home on opening day, and that's rough duty. That's a rough draw right there. So you can't. You got to make sure you got to get that out of the way and look at what you see. And what I see is a strong, tough, well-coached football team. And that's not coach talk. That's what I see. So, and that's what you have to evaluate.